Welcome to Global Tax Talk. My name is Ellen Cortvriend. I'm a partner in the Belgian Indirect Tax Technology practice and leader of our Global Center of Excellence on e-invoicing and e-reporting. Today, I have the utmost pleasure of being joined by Catarina de Melo, who is a principal in our US Indirect Tax team, and I can say as equally passionate as I am in the area of e-invoicing and e-reporting. I think it's clear, Catarina, that we're seeing a lot of changes happening globally. We're really at the tipping point now of a global tsunami of new e-invoicing, e-reporting requirements popping up basically everywhere in the world. If you look at the European e-reporting and e-invoicing requirements, you see that there's a lot of fragmentation. There's not a single country that has implemented exactly the same system as the other. So the European Commission also noticed that because fragmentation, of course, leads to high compliance costs, a high compliance burden for businesses. And it's specifically that point that the European Commission wanted to tackle with FIDA. Next to an overall modernization of some of the existing VAT rules, they also specifically focus on digital reporting requirements. And what they will implement basically is that by July 2030, e-invoicing will become the default system for all European member states when it comes to intra-community transactions that are invoiced. But of course, by this initiative, they also are trying to harmonize and standardize everything that is happening on a domestic level. So with that, we see really an acceleration of European countries now moving more and more into e-invoicing. But I think also on other sides of the world, there are a lot of changes that are coming in the next 5 years. So maybe dive into that also a bit.
Yes, so absolutely, exactly. It's all countries around the world, all continents are looking at e-invoicing. And we have the continent of America, where in the Latin America region, e-invoicing has been really predominant. And right now, all the other countries are looking at what that has done for the tax regime and has really been a proven method to increase tax collection. And so other countries are implementing, or planning to implement e-invoicing. Countries like the UAE, like Oman, Middle East has been really focused on implementing e-invoicing as well. We have APAC, with Taiwan already implementing, Malaysia in the process of implementing e-invoicing. Right now, a tremendous period for e-invoicing. You have other countries that have already also created or published intentions to implement e-invoicing. Like, for example, the UK has already opened their intentions for e-invoicing. You have Canada, you have Norway. It's really coming, and many others really coming, taking again the world by storm, right? E-invoicing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good summary. Yeah. I think with all the changes happening and with the fragmentation and non-harmonization aspect that I just discussed, we basically see a lot of our clients struggling a bit and taking a bit of a different approach than they did in the past when with only a limited number of requirements to adhere to, it was doable to have a local by local approach, local solutions, local teams being responsible for things like e-invoicing, e-reporting. Now we see with the pace of change, really them taking a different strategy. Yeah? You can share also a bit of best practices and things you have been discussing with your clients around how to now create this type of strategy and really put it in action.
It's absolutely fundamental. I think starting with data, because at the end of the day, that's what the tax authorities are looking after, right? And I usually make this comparison, in the real estate world, the value of the house or the apartment is driven by the location of the real estate, right? It's location. When it comes to e-invoicing, is data, right? That's what the tax authorities are looking after. So that's absolutely a fundamental step to tackle e-invoicing. I think another very important one for me that I think it's key to success is having all the stakeholders together. So making sure that everyone within the organization that will have a say on e-invoicing comes together. This is a cross-functional effort, right? It's definitely driven by tax, but it is an effort that needs to be tackled together with IT, with APAR, with finance, right? It's a really a really important process within an organization to issue invoices. The invoice process is really tackled by this cross-functional effort. So having everyone together to really define the strategy that comes with the data, with the processes, the people, is absolutely a key in my mind. I think other things that are really important in this case is to, look at the obligations locally, but think globally and implement something globally, right? Because we just mentioned, right, the obligations are becoming more and more predominant around the world. So tackling it in a more centralized and global way, for me, is really key for success.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, especially if you think about the power of the data and the way that also the governments will evolve in using that data. You see them already taking the first steps. Most of the countries that have implemented either digital reporting requirements, e-invoicing mandates, are now more and more using that data also for instance, the pre-filling of your VAT return, which is the first and logical step in using that data, comparing it with what comes out of the ERP system of businesses. But I think if you think about the wealth of data, the power of data that is being collected in a standardized way by governments, the number of use cases are really numerous. Think about the link with customs processes, with sustainability reporting. So it has really a massive impact for how governments will deal with the data going forward. But I think also from a business perspective, it prepares you better in terms of tax controversy, dealing with tax disputes. So maybe, do you have any insights or can you share also some best practices there, Catarina, on how to better prepare for tax controversy based on the e-invoicing data?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, tax controversy is now a really, really big topic because, as you've mentioned, the tax authorities are in power of these data that they get in real time. They're also trying to figure out how to treat it all and how to make sure they have all the information they need. But I think from a company perspective, it is really important to drive the data strategy in a way that you can predict almost or do a continuous monitoring of your data, right? Owning your data, as opposed to just wait until the end of the month and then prepare your tax return and based on what you have. I think owning the data throughout your period, your reporting period, is really key. And there's with the technology nowadays and with the processes that are evolving, I think it's really key in my mind.
Yeah, really shifting the burden from just reporting at period end to reconciling everything that the government has already obtained on a real-time basis with what you report at the end of the month, and with other types of reporting will be really key, right?
Exactly, because you will have instances in countries where you're going to have at the moment, right, a VAT return, you're going to have a e-reporting, you're going to have e-invoicing, right? All of these have a great load of data that the tax authorities are going to have and process and reconcile. As a taxpayer and as the owner of the data, all of that reconciliation, all of that data cleansing and treatment should be done at the company level as well, right? Just to really get, again, that ownership of your data and making sure that you predict what is coming up in terms of reporting.
I think with that, Catarina, it's all that we have time for today. So I really want to thank you very much for sharing your insights, for joining me in this conversation. And to the audience, thank you for joining us. And make sure to tune in soon for a next Global Tax Talk to make sure that your business is and remains tax ready.